Hey everyone, I'm Melanie from Streamlined Legal, where we help law firms get the most out of their practice management software. Now, if you're anything like me, you've seen that Clio does offer a lot of different ways to get stuff done. So for example, if we're trying to put in a time entry, there's like 10 different ways to do it. If we're trying to, create a task, there's a couple of ways to do that. So tonight we're going to be looking at task lists specifically, and we're going to be looking at how we add a task list to a matter, because there are multiple ways to do it, and sometimes it's better to do one way than the other. So I'm going to hop on over to the screen here and we can talk about it and take a look. So when we're designing task lists or putting them together, I'm going to hop over to tasks. I'm going to take a look at our lists here, and I'm going to show you that when we are creating a task list like this real estate one that I have here in our example, whenever I add a task there, I can of course assign it to a particular person, or I can go ahead and use what's called list assignee. Now, if I choose a list assignee, that means whoever I assign this list to, that's whose name is going to go on this task. So for example, if I am working with, depending on how your firm is set up, if I have multiple paralegals and I'm assigning these files, round robin, and I assign it to a different paralegal every time, I can still use the same list, right? But I can just assign it to a different person. Now, even if, let's say, I'm the managing attorney and, I'm going to be reviewing some of this work, but I review the work, but still I have different paralegals working on it, I can put myself on some of the tasks, but then I can go ahead and list the rest of them as the list assignee. That way, when I assign the list, I can give it to a particular person. So what we end up with as a result is right here, where I've got a couple of these tasks that have been assigned to an associate attorney, and one of them's been assigned to me, but the rest of them say list assignee. So the whole idea here is I want these tasks to be done by whichever paralegal is up next to be assigned this case. So what happens is there are two main ways that I can now put this list into a Clio matter. And the first one is I can go over to the matter. So I've got this Jimmy John is selling his property on Main Street. And so I can come in here and I can go ahead and edit this particular matter, or I can do it when I open the file, of course. And I can come down here, and where we see task automation at the bottom, I can expand that section and I can find my task list right here. And as you'll see, we've got real estate sale task list. That's the one I want. And I can go ahead and save this matter, and the task list will be populated in the matter. The problem is, since I had a task list that contained tasks that were assigned to the list assignee, that method of adding the list into the matter does not give me an option to designate who is the list assignee. And so when I add the task list in this manner, Clio thinks that I'm the list assignee because I'm the one that added it. Now, if I was, then we don't have a problem. But in this case, since I wanted to assign it to someone else, that's a problem, because now you'll see that I have a couple of tasks for the associate attorney still, but now all the tasks that were designated for the list assignee are now assigned to me. And if that's not my goal, then obviously we have a problem. So in this situation where I have a task list that has a list assignee, I'm not going to want to use that method to get it into the matter, because again, it's not going to allow me to assign the tasks out. It's going to assume they were all for me. So instead, I want to use this second method. I'm going to go over to my tasks on the left-hand side. I'm going to click on lists at the top so I see all my lists. And I'm going to come over here to the real estate task list again, but this time I'm going to click on assign. And here it's going to give me the opportunity to choose an assignee. So let's go ahead and say I want my administrative assistant to do all the rest of the tasks on this list, all the ones that were designated for the list assignee. And so I go ahead and I put her in there, or him, and then I go ahead and find the appropriate matter, again, our Jimmy John sale of Main Street, and I assign the list. And when I do this, now when we go back to the matter, and we look at the tasks that have fallen into the task list now and fallen into the case, now we've got this couple for the associate attorney, right? We've got a couple for me because I was designated on a few of them, but the majority of them are for the administrative assistant now, because that's, again, these tasks were assigned to the list assignee. So this is what I was going for. This was my intention, and now my tasks are assigned to the appropriate person. So again, if you are using task lists that have list assignees in them, you want to make sure to add them to the file by going over to tasks and lists and then assigning them, as opposed to entering them when you're editing a matter. So I hope this is helpful for you guys. Please do keep in mind that we're going to hop on out here. Please do keep in mind that, if you don't have a list assignee in your task list, then it really does not make a difference. But when you do, you'll be glad that you set it up that way. Thanks so much for joining me tonight. You guys have a great evening, and we'll see you soon.